doing, Baron? Hey guys, so one of the things that I get a lot of feedback on pretty much all of my horses is them coming up to a mounting block to pick you up. Here you guys can see a clip of Riva coming to get me off the mounting block. Now hers has been combined with some liberty training and a ground tie, as you see here. But this can be really practical regardless of discipline, since we all have to get on our horses. Getting on from a block puts less strain on your horse's back than ground mounting. So because most horses prefer this, it's actually a super easy thing to train. As you guys can see here, my actual cue itself for her to step over the mounting block would be lifting my hand in the air, snapping my fingers, and saying the word over. Now she was positioned just a little bit too far forward, so you can see I do actually have a whip in my hand and helping position her back just a little bit, since I don't have any reins here to grab and help pull her back that extra step to get on. Baron here has never done anything close to this. We've never worked on it, and actually this is his first time in my indoor. He is mine, and I do plan on getting him going this winter, hopefully. But I was going to show you guys the beginning steps of how I would start the pick-me-up cue. So first things first, I want to kind of place a button on him, and he doesn't have any buttons because he's a baby that doesn't know anything. So the only thing you'll really need is mine is a lunge whip that met the lawnmower, but a carriage whip would work, or a dressage whip. And I'm going to stand on his off side, because our finished product, we should be able to stand on the near side and lift our hand and have him come over. So I'm going to start on his off side. And I'm going to come up with my little carriage whip that you guys can see over here, and I'm going to tap right up top. I actually didn't have to, he moved over anyway. I'm going to tap right up at the top of his hip on the off side. So I'm going to come up here, and he's soft enough that he doesn't even need me to tap it. So if he weren't to respond, then I would go ahead and start tapping a little harder. So once he gets that down, so I'll lift my stick, I'm going to tap him on that top hip over there, and I can start adding the word over. So now he's kind of facing me a little bit. I did that 2 or 3 times, so I'm going to walk him up, and I want his nose kind of by the wall. So if he gets confused, he can only swing his butt so far away from me. So I'm going to stand on his near side. I'm going to add my verbal cue, so I'll tell him over, and I'm going to take my whip over his back and see if I can hit that same spot I was tapping on the other side. So he moves away from the pressure, or he moves his butt the wrong way. I'm just going to keep a steady tap and hold his head still so he can't walk anywhere. So this is why I'm using the wall here. I'm going to keep tapping until he starts to move his hindquarters back towards me. Over. Good, and right there. Good boy. So that's all I'm looking for at first, and right now I'm not going to care if he fidgets. All I want is his shifted movement towards me. Good boy. And then I'm going to do that again. So lift my whip up, go for that spot on his far hip, over, there and over. Now start tapping a little bit, there and over. Hold his head still. And if he's not responding at all, I'm going to start increasing my tap. If he's trying to figure out what I want, then I'm going to keep a nice steady tap. And once if he kind of tunes me out or quits trying anything, then I'll start to increase my pressure. I'm going to do that one more time here. So whip up and over, top of his hip, there and over. So he's thinking, over. And I want to use really light pressure there, and that time it didn't take hardly anything for me to get him to step over. Good boy. So once he's got that down really good, what I want to do is start phasing out my carriage whip. So if I move him back so you guys can see me a little better again. Oh, good boy. So now what I can do is I can kind of hide this whip behind my arm, but I'm still going to point at the same spot. So I'm going to set him up and be in the same position. So if I lift my arm, there and over, and I'll kind of click to him, there and over, and right here, I can flick that whip out, show him what I want, good, and then I'll try it one more time. Good boy. Let him stand here. I'll move him so you guys can see again. And then again, I'm going to try and do it without my whip. There and over. I can kind of push his head away from me a little bit, flip my stick out, over. And there, I didn't even have to touch him, and that hip starts walking over. Good boy. And then you guys can progress that, and then we can add the mounting block in. So now if I come up on here, and he's already kind of lined up, but I can still bring his hips back towards me. Good boy, Baron. So same thing, I'm going to take my hand up, point at that far hip, Baron over, and he can kind of circle around it here. I can't quite reach that hip, I'm going to see if I can get a little longer. Good boy, Baron over. I'm going to kind of wait for him to stop and think, Baron. Push him back, good. And there that hip started to swing back towards me. He's not quite sure yet what he did, but I'm going to stop and pet him and see if I can set him up to do it again. Good boy. So try without the whip first. There and over. So right now he's thinking, and right there you guys can see him shift his weight and start to bring his hips towards me without the help of a whip. There and over. Let him think. There and over. Aid with my whip. Good. Good boy, Baron. I'll go for one more without the whip first. Baron over. Over. Let him think. Baron over. And then help. So keep tapping if he goes the wrong way or doesn't give me his hip. And then as soon as it comes around, I'll just pet him. And I want to go till I get one time of him just stepping his hips towards me without the reinforcement of the whip. Because eventually I don't want to have to carry this stick. And I'll try that one more time. So here his shoulder's getting kind of close. I'm going to push his shoulder out. His hindquarters actually automatically kind of came into me. There and over. 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 So once he moves the wrong way, I'm going to tap him here. And as soon as he moves the correct way, take pressure off. Good boy. And now you guys can see how we're getting really close to where you would want him positioned to mount here. And this is still his first time doing this. So I might just get down, give him a little circle here, walk him out, and then come back to it. And see if I can at least get a step without this whip. So I'll bring his head, lead rope in my left hand. I want his head on that side. There and over. Over. There, I'm not having to tap at all. Good boy. There and over. Over. And right there, I just got that step with no whip help. Good boy. Good boy. Go for one more step, see if I can actually get him lined up. So I'm going to push his head away from me. There and over. There and over. Very nice. And right there, now he's in the perfect position to get on.
So once they start getting the hang of it and moving off the cue really softly like Baron did is when I would want to quit working on that exercise. That took Baron less than 10 minutes to figure out, but a couple more sessions and it will benefit him and his rider for the rest of his life. In this clip, you can see Zola going ahead and stepping over to the mounting block herself without a cue. The more you guys work on this, the more it will become muscle memory and the more you won't have to help your horse to step over to any elevated surface that you climb up on. Good luck, guys, and let me know if you have any questions.